What is going on, guys? Can everybody hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. What is going on, Paul FTW, Neil McKenzie, channel member? What is up? What is up? Brother Paul Mills, what is going on, my man? Channel member, good to see you, brother. Who else we got in here? Brother Angelo, we got B Shades in the house too, channel member. Good to see both you guys. Marco is in the house. And it is Tuesday night, and we are sitting and we are spinning. I hope y'all have had a good week thus far. If I planned better, I'd have a bunch of Tontos out on the table, but I bet I don't have a single one. Not on the table. I've got plenty within reach. How is everybody doing? Hopefully you guys have had a good week. I feel like I just saw a lot of y'all last night on Pocket Mills Live. And I can play with my effects. So that's the thing, right? I figured we talk about knives, we talk about life, we talk about whatever's on y'all's mind. I feel like these Tuesdays will kind of be a thing that I just kind of do solo with you guys to kind of do what you guys want to do. I'll have agenda sometimes. I've been looking around, even though I'm not actively buying stuff, I still look around to look for cool stuff coming in. I've been kind of slack on posting it on my YouTube page or on Instagram because I haven't been on Instagram as much as I should be just to share stuff because there's a lot of cool stuff coming out. I've been really gushing over this knife. What's up, Ant? Good evening, buddy. And this is a knife I wouldn't say I was a hater on, but I had no interest in. It just did not seem like my jam. However, after now living with it for about a week, the only question I would have, or the only request I would have, not that it would be a deal breaker for me, is like Devo did with their early knives. I would love to have a smooth pivot in there as well. I love the stash. I love the branding. I've got OCD and like other weird deals. So to me, with it not being circular or somehow where it would have to be perfectly flushed up, it would just drive me nuts. No sound effects, Ant. I'm gonna try to. I might do a few. I might do one or two. I'll try to only place them in good or due time. The bad thing is, and Pocket Metal gives me a hard time, but I've got my little soundboard, and it's got like 6 pads on it, but it's got a bunch of effects that you can scroll through. I got it for the hopefully the voice, right? Even though my videos that are, I guess, 95%, well, probably more like 85% of what I do now I still shoot just on an iPhone, but at least here I've got a mic, right, and a soundboard, so hopefully the sound's good. Um, if not, it would not surprise me because I don't know how to set this stuff up. The reason I got this board was it had a it was kind of plug and play, kinda easy. It had good and it had effects. And I'm just a child when it comes to stuff like that. I've tried to turn it down to where it wouldn't blow y'all's ears out. Whoops, I did not mean to do that. Mayor Salt, what is up, buddy? Yeah, I can take it. I can take a little ribbing. See, I don't even have to put my hands over there on it. I can instead sit here and flick my TRM Bulldog. Have any of you guys checked out the little TRM Bulldog? I say little because when they were first marketing it, and I've got a TRM Shadow, I actually got a complete TRM Nest with the exception of the first knife they made. I forget what that was, but I've got the first Slippy they made. But this is about the size of the TRM Neutron. It's got the thickest blade stock TRM's ever worked with, and it's got probably one of the smoothest bar locks or bar style locks. They call it the river lock at TRM. And it's just a great little knife for me. For my buddy A to Z EDC, who's got a lot bigger hands, it's a little small for him. So there's that. Ron Crow, channel member, what is up, buddy? And I'm also going to do this. I'm going to have my eyes trained on the chat. I'm not going to get into any other windows unless it gets to be late, and we've gone over 3 hours, and I get into a weird video sharing mood. But not until then. And I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to try to make these Tuesday night, later nights, just a little different. Where I try to, it's going to be an exercise in futility, but it's going to be an exercise in me trying to be zoned in Paul talking to Ron, and Mayor Salt talking to Paul, and Ant talking to Frenchie. Who's Frenchie? See, and I've got it's going to be train Javon to be able to do a live stream and try to keep some kind of stream of consciousness that is engaging and that somehow reflects, answers, just engages with what the chat is, you guys are talking about. So I can sit here and show knives for probably, probably about 6 hours if I did it, kind of staged it out. And I toyed with, when we were coming up on our first or second year of not doing Knives Live, I felt kind of guilty, and I toyed with doing a 24-hour stream, just a solo stream, and I'd have to break it up into 4 live streams because that's as long as you can go. I think 8 hours. But I didn't do it. But I'm kind of toying with that, kind of as a sub drive, just kind of as a thing to do. Like pick a day, maybe like a Tuesday night, 10:15, and start this live stream. And then just go till Wednesday night at 10:15, and then disappear till Friday. And just kind of do it as to see what it would be like. Good morning, Messer. See, that's another great thing about later night streams is, and that's why I think a 24-hour stream would be fun, because you never know who would come in, not knowing how many knife EDC people YouTube would share it with. But it might be something cool. But this knife right here, I did a video on today. It's one that I'm trading with Carco on. It is a servant knives, like that little simpleton that I've got. But this is his first generation. I think the first time he made it. It's called a Mech Fighter. And this thing is wicked. And I'm usually not, what's up, Mark Parks, channel member? I'm usually not a tactical knife guy, and I'm really not a ring knife guy. But this is a totally different ring knife because it's more of a knuck type deal, and I can hold the knife very comfortably because it's got jimping in 3 places, but I can hold the knife very comfortably without even being in that pinky. Carco, I'm just bragging on you, buddy. We gotta talk just so I could, ask you one question about one knife and then see, I thought you had told me before I sent them back you wanted something or all of them sharpened, and I just wanted to verify before I touched anything. But this knife is absolutely stunning. It's 3V, unlike anything I would normally go after, but I look at it as functional art, and it is definitely that. And I hope he comes back. If Palmer's in here or if Palmer pops in, he knows and can remind me, because I follow him, of the gentleman's IG, because he says he's going to be making knives again in 2024, 25. Good to see you, Carco. Oh, hold on. Oh, the Tonto? Okay. Gotcha, buddy. But let's talk tomorrow because I want to ask you about. I think that, and I could be crazy, but that one with the Spidey hole that has a weird, what I'm thinking is like my Inkoshi, my Spyderco, Akoshi or whatever flipper tab. But not just that, even if that's not a flipper tab, right off the pivot, there's a little T something. And I'm thinking that that is some kind of custom adjustable detent, because that's probably where that detent ball rides. I'm not going to touch it. I'm just curious what that is, because I did film the this guy, which is a fantastic knife. This DDO Dominator, Daryl Ralph Designs Dominator. This is the Bowie I learned. I went back to Blade HQ in their archives and found this pattern and this blade style, because he did several different blade styles, is the Bowie. It's just an awesome knife, though, Carco. I mean, hey, where have you been? I've been outside calling for this freaking cat, and I've checked everywhere in the house. I mean, I don't have a big house. Wherever she could be, right? She usually sleeps in my bed, or she'll sleep somewhere else. I walked around with the flashlight because I was like, I know I didn't see her go back out, but she'll sit here and she'll flip off the Aries first, then the Lamia, and she's scratching, so that's why the table's going like that. But yeah, and the other thing, Carco, I want to talk to you to listen to your Palmer. What's up? Palmer knows the gentleman from Servant Knives because he's got a personal page where he says he may be making knives again. I don't know if you saw this one today, Palmer. This review came out, or overview. I don't do knife reviews, even though I have been stabbing this in my little piece of old oak that fell that's like 200, 300 years old. And I mean, you could put this through a car door. This is 3V, just a honking chunk of 3V. Joseph S., what is up? Tippy, be gone. Be gone, sweetness. But I talked to Casey Lynch. I didn't talk to him. I emailed him. And I said, you're doing such an awesome job with clips, like with the new Spyderco clips. The Medford Infraction and the Slim MIDI and my MIDI Marauder all had these little janky clips. I say janky, they're nice clips, but they're small clips. So for the size and weight of the knife, they don't have a lot of retention, right? Not that I'm going to do cartwheels, but if I wanted to go out and do cartwheels, this would fall out of my pocket. That's a no bueno. So I talked to Medford about 6 months ago. I just stopped working. I just gotten laid off at the time. And the lady that emailed me back said, no, we don't send out clips, because I'd seen that they had one that like it fit. But if you send it in, we can replace it. Like, well, that's kind of nuts. Now, I understand that a Medford clip, you can't just screw the screw into the clip. You have to take the scale off, which is very easy because there's a little bolt that's seated on the inside of the scales. So anyway, I was like, nah, I don't think I'm going to send it in for that. It's just, do other people complain? And I'm not saying it's a deal breaker. I've got 3 of your knives, but the clips are just so weak. And evidently, her comeback was these are their gentleman's type knives. So they're thought of to go in, not to be something where, like I told her, you'd be doing cartwheels with. Anyway, long story short, about 30 days later, I got an email from her and it said, "Hey, John, I can send you a clip. If you'll take responsibility in case something goes wrong, we can send you a clip. It'll be X amount of dollars." And I said, "I appreciate it. That's great to know. I'm not right now in the position or in the need for it." But then when I started getting to know who Casey Lynch was and talking to him and seeing what he was doing with clips, because I picked up a Protect clip from them not too long ago, and then I picked up that Spyderco clip. That's just amazing the way that he designed that with 2 pieces. But I sent him pictures of this and said, "I would love to see you do Medford clips because it's not just that knife that it fits on. It fits on about probably even 4 knives." Chippy, you are just all over it, aren't you? Aren't you? Come in my lap. Sorry, guys. The cat is bound and determined to mess something up. God. But anyway, they're evidently working on a couple of knife designs. It sounded like he was like, "John, that's something I think is a great idea. I might get to it. Right now, we've got a couple of things cooking that are really cool." And I don't know if y'all have been to their site lately. I have no affiliation with Lynch Northwest. I don't have an affiliate link or anything, but I've always been a customer of theirs. I like their stuff. And their website has really evolved from when I first went there. And I'm not going to go to it because, like I told you guys tonight, I'm staying in the chat unless y'all want to look at something. If somebody wants to see something or somebody throws up a knife, we do pocket checks that I'm not aware of what it is. We can go see what it is, and that'll be cool. But yeah, I've got a split of some different knives out here tonight, and a knife I never experienced, and I'm not going to talk about it, but for a second, I've really been impressed with this knife. I put an edge on it last night, Nitro V, and I've never handled the full dress, I guess, Kaiser Militar, but the size is just about perfect. It's about maybe a quarter to a half inch bigger than a bug out, and about a quarter to maybe a half inch smaller than a paramilitary 2. And I know that it's somewhere in there, right? I'm not good with dimensions, but it's like under $70 for this Nitro V, G10, and then whatever I think there's like 20 variations. Nope, Kyle, I said that was the only Militar talk of the night. But I will give you
Wow.
I will give you one of those. Good to see you, Farmer. Good to see you, Kyle Coonley, my brother from another mother. I'm gonna have a special new visitor joining us Friday night for Friday Night Flicks to come in, and I'm kind of stoked about that. And then we'll probably have our normal crew, and see what happens, see what goes on, see what we can get into. But what have you guys been up to? Are y'all waiting for anything? Are y'all on to hunting for anything? What's the story? I feel like I've been totally out of the loop because I'm only looking at knives, and I've got that knife that is inbound. I've actually got a couple of knives inbound. One that I'm trying out from a maker who I will have him. It's actually a young guy from the States, and it is, Ah! Did y'all see that? Did you happen to see that? Tippy just scooted right across the soundboard, but luckily did not hit the freaking, the pads. But no, what I was gonna say is I've got a little knife that's interesting. It's from a company called Lucky Dog Knife Company, and this guy designed a couple of little small fixed blades, and then he worked with a custom maker in Canada to do a run of 18, which is all he could do right out of the bat. Chef Rocky, what is up, buddy? The Morona, what is up? Channel member, Chef Rocky, I haven't seen you in a while, buddy. It's good to see you. But they look like really neat little knives. And I like the little fixed blades so much. So I'm gonna check one of those out. Stevie, I think they're gonna be a little bit bigger, and it's probably not gonna be nearly as KEWL cool as the chickadee. Because we all know that there is no knife that is as cool as a chickadee. Tippy, you're driving me nuts. I mean nuts. Before, I don't know if y'all just came in here, but the cat I thought was outside. Well, I knew the cat wasn't outside because the cat came in, but the cat went to one of those places, and I don't have a big house, but went to one of those places that you can't find even with the flashlight. I know this because I walked around the house with the flashlight and checked any of the maybe 8 possible spots she could be. So right when I started this, she jumps up and just starts going ham, swatting knives. She's about to get the mini Arius off the table. You'll see it go flying in a second. Hey, Tippy. But anyways, so what did everybody carry today? The Maruna, Olight is a company that I really like. I've got several Olights. Salt, put your fingers in your ears. But I'm confused by their business model. I've I've bought every Olight I've purchased has come probably from Amazon or maybe River's Edge Cutlery if it was. I think most of them I've given away. But in either case, they've got so much. It's like their website sensory overload. The Flix is a great knife. The Moroni, that is a fantastic one. Main Street, sweet. Guys, I'll tell you, Amazon has really upped their game. Ooh, Paul Mills. So far, the SBD full-sized Evo Typhoon and his bug out. Very nice. Hey, buddy, it was not my Flix. I was just hanging on to it. It's your Flix. It just took a while to get to you. I'm glad you like it. It is a good knife. I love, and Sam, I forget his last name, but Miguron, I bought that Flix and I bought the Gladiator because at the time I thought they were Migurons. I bought them off their site. They're killing it in more ways than one, but there are a lot of knife companies, even retailers that sell on there, and I don't think it's necessarily a good thing, but I'm guilty of feeding them for little junky shit that I don't need. Um, I carried my XM18, which you can't get there. I don't even think you can get a fake one there yet. Um, but that's my Spanto. It's got a 19-degree edge on it. It's pretty slicey. And then I carried in my left pocket a knife that is cooler than the Chickadee, and I'm sure y'all will give me a hard time for it. And I don't blame you. It's warranted. But I'm in love with my little nip slip that I bought from Austin. Just as a little cutter. I mean, I'm such a lackluster knife using guy, even though I've gotten to where instead of just cutting down my cardboard and putting it in my recycle bin, which I used to do for therapy, I'm trying to cut my cardboard down into little squares. So when I'm cutting paper, I can also cut cardboard. I do use my knives, but I just use them for more urban beta goofball type stuff, right? I mean, I just I was cutting a bunch of ivy back today. I was actually cutting ivy back with my Liangma Field Duty EDC, which is still subjective. Everybody likes different stuff, but out of all my knives, in terms of the knife that I like the best, that I like to carry it the best, no, nobody listens to Eric. I don't think Bezos will, but it'll be interesting to see if AI ever has what they do with design and how Bezos and others utilize AI for design, including knife design. Not that that would be the first thing that they use. Um, but yeah, it's shit's weird. Shit changes really fast. I see it in my daily life. I see it. It's affected me directly, but I know I can't really fight it, and I'm not going to be able to stop it or change it. So the best thing to do is just tippy. It's just kind of, I look at it as a surfboard type deal. Like, right? Hey, hey. I look at it as riding a surfboard, even though I'm not a great surfer. I'm a much better skater. But riding a surfboard, and your only really chance is to stay on the board till it hits the beach. You ride it to the beach. What else are you going to do, right? Um, but yeah, and I don't know. I'm not going to get into my thoughts on the elite and my thoughts on government or what is the government, because that doesn't help anything, right? Tippy, you're not going out, so just Samadana. But I'll tell you what, guys, that meowing, this is from my personal experience again. This is not subjective. This is not to impact on anybody else's life. But to me, I would listen to 24-hour meowing over 8 hours of some chick bitching at me. I've been through that. That was fucking horrible. Like 50 Cent says, I was a voluntary hostage. Knives and Pizza, what is going on? Hope you're doing well. Todd War, Carr, what is up? What is up, guys? I've got a cat still thinking that it's gonna go outside, but in a second, it'll give it up. It won't continue to try to meow. It'll finally just go back and do its thing. But until then, I apologize. I don't know if the noise filter is getting it. I can hear it in my ears, so I have a feeling you guys can hear it too. But it could be, like I said, some lady bitching about what I'm doing, why I'm not doing something I should be doing. What? You got another knife? What? That's true. And I would never think he would. But what's weird, and I'll tell you what makes me think about it. When you look at those Walmart Swiss Tech knives, this will be a giveaway pretty soon. I've tested it, done all kinds of stuff with it, and I hate to say it's a great knife. And for $36, if somebody's looking for a small EDC knife, the company Swiss Tech, but it's really a Walmart private label, I guess, or Walmart sub brand because they're in the same city as Walmart. But I wonder how much I know computers had a lot to do with the manufacturing and design of this knife, but I wonder at what point is AI gonna be, if somebody says, I want an EDC fixed blade that's a drop point, that is thin, that is a good, and just when is AI gonna be able to spit that shit out? And to me, that's why going back to Professor EDC's video that I recommend everybody watch from about 3 weeks ago, talking about should YouTubers design knives. He says, his conclusion is, well, of course they should be able to. but that doesn't mean that they're something you wanna buy. If you like buying art, if you like buying designs, and then I started thinking about it, what makes a knife designer? And Ursh Urshowitz, and I said that name wrong, but or, uh, um, Eliza Isham or uh, Ray Laconico or John Gray, these well-known Brad Zinker designers, um, and I think it's just the time they put in it. Is that wrong? I mean, what makes that'd be a good question. It's just an open question because I don't know. What to me, a good design is a design that sits fits a certain need, right? And I know I'm very shallow on that shit. That was made clear by my definition of heirloom because I took it too literally. But what do you guys think? I mean, whether you love it or hate it, people can say Strider is a recognizable, known design. Daryl Ralph, whether it's the big gun hammer or it's his little Dominator, he had that little foot, and for whatever reason, rest in peace, he was an older guy. People really saw something functionally artistically desirable in his knife. Um, I won't say the name, but you know, some people find designs desirable, but what makes that, right? What makes those designers also made knives just do something they understand the function of it. Gotcha, Kyle. So to really understand, and this is a rhetorical question, not rhetorical, I'm kind of curious, but in my mind, to truly understand how something works, you'd have to have a really good engineering brain, but more importantly, you would have had to make, like Chavez, for example, make some knives, get to the point to where you can do a partnership to do some production models, or like Ware knives, where you're making custom knives. You got to shut the fuck up. You're driving me fucking crazy and everybody else. All right, I'll make a lap. Jesus Christ. But I mean, because like said Stevie, what's the maker? And I always forget, but I'll never forget the logo, and I'll never forget his blade shapes. But the Rhino mounting the other Rhino, those knives that you have, Snuz has, Forrest has. I know or somebody like Donnie. Plus, not so those are to me excellent designs. And I guess, and tell me if I'm wrong, it's because those makers have learned how to tweak those knives because they've made them. And that's not true. I mean, it might not be as good as your peers or people that you would Edgy Blade Works. So that's to me a design that stands out from a lot of knives. But then some people find, and I wouldn't judge, but some slip joints to be some of the greatest designs ever. You know, I guess it's subjective in a lot of ways, but I would think somebody like Ant or somebody who is an engineer. I look at John Rusk. If I'm not mistaken, he's got an engineering background or a graphics background, but or somebody like what's his name? You from Vosteed. I think he had an engineering background because he's done some stuff with locks that are a little different. But if you use knives like somebody that was a reviewer, but you are also had engineering capacity, I would think you could design a very functional knife, but would it be considered an artistic design? I agree. It did turn to a stripper pole finally, didn't it? Doesn't he have his chick? What's up, Donnie? We were just talking about you, brother. Your ears must have been burning. Good to see you, dude. Good to see you. Rolf, what is going on? I hope you're having a good week. I hope everybody's having a good week. It's Tuesday night, Taco Tuesday in some parts of the world, Mexican Pizza Tuesday, but they'll be long closed when I'm done. But I wonder how weird it would be and if I would be able to make it if I just did a Tuesday night sit and spin and ran it for 24 hours and just stayed on for 6, had another stream, or 8, have another stream start, have another stream start, and just have them all named as one. So it wouldn't be something that I was publicizing. It was just something that people would log on and I'd be live for 24 hours. And I'd take breaks and put my little break thing up when I had to go pee or I have to go, service the head or whatever the case may be. I would throw up my "I'll be right back" thing, and I could even do it totally to frustrate everybody and do it in portrait mode for 24 hours and see how many views I could get. I'm thinking outside the box. What's up, Hinder Collector 41? We were just doing a pocket check earlier, and I carried my XM18 in my right pocket today. I did not carry a fixed blade because I didn't really go that far. And that sucks, dude. I hope you're on the backside of it getting better. I know RSV and COVID and flu and stuff has been knocking people I know down pretty hard. So that sucks, dude. I hope you get well quick. Ed, Ed, that's true. And the only reason I say it is in my industry, digital marketing, AI is kind of this thing that's it can pretty much do it. It can't necessarily strategize it, but it's just really interesting. You'd come unplug me, not. Hey, we did the 24-hour stream 2 years in a row, the Knives Live thing, but that was everybody kind of going for 24 hours. But I stayed up except for when I slept into a little bit of a nap for the whole 24 hours. I think I only missed like a spot and a half. But yeah, it would be weird. I just think it might be interesting. I just think it might be interesting to see. I think there are a lot of people, Maddie. No, I'm not looking to do anything nuts. I'm not looking to do anything nuts. What I think would be cool, and the reason I think the late night streams, which aren't late night for you guys out in the West or in Maddie, where they don't even acknowledge daylight savings time or any change in the clock, which is cool. There's nothing wrong with that. Is you might pick up viewers from other parts of the world, like Messer, who's probably getting up going to work. Hey Wolf, what's going on, buddy? Nice to see you, man. We were just sitting and spinning. I said earlier on tonight, the goal for me for Tuesday nights is to be just me looking at the chat. Oh, the Moroni. I know. I played the fraternity game in college and went through Hell Week back when they were having Hell Week. That would have been 1985. And we stayed up with just little spurts of sleep for I think it was 4 or 5 days, and it was insane, dude. It was insane. Now, 48 hours doing cocaine was insane because you're going so much faster in your thoughts. So I didn't get jag-weeded out during Hell Week, but you definitely get to where you don't know what the fuck you're doing. But 24 hours is easy. 24 hours is easy. But there'd have to be a purpose, right? And I don't know what the purpose would be. I don't want it to be I don't know what the purpose would be. maybe be something we could tie in with, hmm. But I'm not a man. Joe Isabella, I would love to see the chunk of jank. Is it on Instagram, or are you getting ready to message it to Instagram? Because I do have Instagram, and for you, hey, buddy, I used to be a thoroughbred. I don't think I've had bad experiences, and I've gotten stitches once, but yeah, I could handle them. It just got to the point to where they became so, toxic, knock on wood, because of me. It was a John, how he viewed them and used them as a emotional, physical, and psychological kickstand. Um, so yeah, it was it was time for me to go what I call California-ish sober. Hey, to me, if you're if drugs work for you, you can stay alive and stay with us, God bless you. If you're in a situation like I was in, where you had a monkey on your back that you never thought you'd have because you were always that guy, but then you got into something that was kinda different and took hold of you, don't lose hope that you can, even though it feels like it could never happen, that you could never quit, you can. Um, Now you might relapse. I haven't relapsed yet, knock on wood, but I have quit. Um, uh, yeah, but, so I know I've got the major issues, but I also know that there are things that people can get prescribed and unwillingly, if they're predisposed to it, get addicted, unfortunately. And that can make you feel really hopeless. Those are things that was probably, and I'm thinking I ran for 13 years hard. Nobody knew it. I was what you would call a highly functioning addict, professional white collar addict. But the only way you would know I had a problem is if I didn't have what I needed in my system. But yeah, it when you everything is centered around that, whether you're going on a trip, whether it's business trip, whether it's vacation, you can't even fathom the thought of being somewhere and getting sick. And it's just a constant fucking hamster wheel. And for me, it just got to a place to where it forget what the there was no aha moment there. There was an aha moment when I quit drinking, which was years later, 2 years later, but there was no aha moment except, "Oh, fuck, this has gotta stop," type thing. After, I mean, 15 years probably of daily, daily heavy intake. And see, I wish, I love, and I can still kind of fantasize about the energy, the feeling of well-being, and a lot of people, they make them feel like shit, but for me, narcotics were awesome. Now sober hippie. It was nuts, dude, and I'm not really a hippie, it's just during COVID, I didn't cut my hair, and then, I was rocking along with a ponytail and in a job that I'd been in for almost 10 years, so nobody cared, everybody knew me, and then our whole vision got and I just haven't had a haircut. I've gone with it. I've embraced it. Now, when I was in college, I had the same hair, except I kept it in a ponytail constantly. I followed Stevie's favorite band, The Dead, and, I was living La Vida fucking Loca, my best life. Um, it was all just nuts. Never came to Washington, but came to, Eugene, Oregon, came to San Francisco, Alpine Valley, Dallas. I'm trying to work my way east. Louisville, Chicago a bunch of times, Atlanta a bunch of times, Hampton, Virginia, Charlotte, North Carolina, St. Petersburg, Florida, and somewhere else. Oh, Buckeye Lake Amphitheater in Buckeye Lake, Ohio, where my first indoctrination was. So I was a hippie. I was actually a patchouli drenched, long-haired, kind of a yippie more than a hippie. I played a hippie. Um, because all through high school, I was big into the Doors. I was reading all Jim Morrison's, which is only 2 works, and they're really short poems, so it's yeah, it's, Yeah, Knife Nut 69. As a matter of fact, 63 shows is how many shows I went to with Jerry alive. I didn't go to any post Jerry, but I did go post Brent, who was a keyboard player who kicked the Oxygen Habit on a speedball in '91, I think? Late '91, right when the tour was over? Palmer, it is a totally different knife. It's a freaking, spike. The Servant is so thick, it's 3V, and the Chickadee can be 3V, and I know you're just fucking with me, but happens to be right here because I was using it today. Move my shit. See, that's the bad side of me responding to the chat. Even if y'all are being sarcastic, I will respond. So, the Simpleton is about a half inch longer, but much beefier. I mean, this is a freaking little with that, especially with that knot at the end of the handle, this is a little shank, where this is a little cutter. Maybe a little clean a dove, cut paracord on a campsite, cut some mushrooms out of cow shit so you don't destroy the foot. This is, you know, do all those things, but also has a very thick, shanky blade. I love this little Simpleton. It is a banger. Jank video sent. All right, guys. So I'm going to break my rule and jump away from the chat for 2 seconds. 1,000, 1,000. Back, taking a peek. Kyle Coonley, dang it, Kyle. All right, y'all talk amongst yourselves. I'm about to pull this up. All right. Ouchie EDC, what is going on? What is going on? Let's look at some Beetlejuice inspired jank from Brother Joe Isabella. Is that carbon fiber, dude? Topo carbon fiber in the center? That is beautiful, Joe. What is that topo looking? And I need to get back to the chat. Hold on. Let me, before you answer. Is that topo looking stuff carbon fiber, Joe? Joe's jank is epic. Kevin C, what's going on, buddy? Topo Fat Carbon, lending my car to G10 and acrylic. Dude, that's beautiful. Is the G10 the white in the middle? Beautiful stuff. Be up, everybody. Donnie, I fell asleep Sunday night and missed you and Edgy, which sucks. Because that was y'all's first sit down in a couple of weeks. I think, Ed, if I'm not mistaken, Marty'd have to, I think Marty's over 7 feet or right about 7 feet. He's about Bigfoot size, like a teenage Bigfoot, 18-year-old Bigfoot. Dude, I always miss something. You guys have chemistry. You talk about making knives. I learned something. Not that I could go replicate it, but it's still interesting to learn. I've taken this learning thing, teaching myself something even more seriously now that I'm dealing with taking care of my dad, who is an attorney, highly functioning. He's now a very highly functioning dude with dementia. But I think there's a lot to be said if you don't work your brain out like a muscle, that you lose it, just like anything else. So I've been jumping into Google AdWords and trying to get back up to date on my certifications in case I want to do freelance stuff for people. Unfortunately, knife companies can't use their abandoned prohibited category in Google Ads. Now you can advertise on YouTube, but you've got to be very careful what your creative is and what landing page, i.e. website, you lead somebody to. Paul, I love when I can catch him, even though it's in portrait. He's one that I can deal with in portrait because I can just listen to him grind and talk, and it's just relaxing. Kathleen Smith, welcome, channel member. Good to see you, young lady. Welcome, welcome, welcome to a sit and spin and chill. Hit the like button. Appreciate you. We are hanging out. We are talking about lives and knives. Here's why the heck all right, let me go and find that on my regular chat. I've got my chat that I can click on over here, but for some reason, the YouTube chat wants to run way behind. Where's Maddie's link? Where's Maddie's link? There it is. Boom. For me, I don't see the value. Because for the longest time, Lefty would show something, and for some reason, I would think it was cool and subconsciously buy it. And I bought a Leatherman Charge. I had a Skeletal first, which I really liked because it had the pliers, which I never used, but I used them a couple of times. And it had the little screwdriver, which I like because I've got the little bit kit that I just think is a cool thing to have in my bug out bag, even though I haven't used it. But I got a Leatherman Charge, and I think it was like 145, had G10 handles. This is Magna Cut, if I'm not mistaken. This is yeah, so they're basically giving you PV coated handles, magnets, because it does have magnetic closure. But for me, for some people that love multi-tools, I'm sure they got excited about it and they like it. And I've seen good reviews on it. I'm just not that much of a multi-tool guy. I've got two. I've got my Skeletal and my Charge. And I've used the saw on my Charge. it's a very handy tool. What's up, Chris Warris, Kevin C, Mr. Eddie? Welcome, welcome. Welcome to Sit and Spin on a Taco Tuesday where no tacos were consumed over here. No Mexican pizzas. No fun for nobody when there's no Mexican pizzas. Yeah, Todd, I don't see, you know, and that shoots off like 2 or 3 missiles. I don't know why. It might shoot off one more. Nope. But I don't know why. I still think, and I could be wrong, but I think the jury's still out on Magna Cut. And I think I feel that way because of makers' reluctance to embrace it. I've sharpened it. I've got a lot of it. I've never had a bad experience with it, but I've never noticed anything. Again, not a hard user. But like this is Magna Cut, and I'm sure it's heat treated well because it's TRM. But I don't know how much better it would be than S35 heat treated excellently too. I just don't know. Kyle, I just said to me because I don't understand it. So is it they don't understand the heat treat process, or they don't understand the expectations not being? Educate me, my brother. And I say that honestly, because I would think that Laren Thomas, who I don't know from Adam's House Cat, but I would think that he's legit. I don't doubt he's developed something special. And maybe it's just the old time knife makers don't like change. We've seen that for years, I guess. But it's not designed to be the longest edge retention. It's designed to be a great overall steel. Yeah. So it's kind of been, and to me, that's the perfect type of steel because I don't need the toughest steel. I don't need the strongest edge retention. I do like stainless if possible, but I have non-stainless steels too. So Kyle, with that explanation, do you think the public or the community expects more from it? Or is there just not, maybe it's that there's not a big enough supply that makers can't get it for what they want to pay for steel? I don't know. And I know we're seeing more and more of it. I'm trying to see if I've got any out here. I don't. Yeah, I do. Let me see what Palmer just put up. Work knife balance. I just give a follow to work knife balance. Look at that guy. What is up? Was that? Yeah, I wasn't following work knife balance. Me with knives lately. I have not. And guys, I've been real bad about not being in lives like I normally am. I've been dealing with dad issues quite a bit lately. Not issues, just time spent. And when I come home, I do some weird hours sleeping. Magna Cut 62 is stronger than 64. Not many people notice the difference in edge retention. I think. Yeah, I think, Mr. Reddy, I think that's probably accurate. I think people like you who work with it, who know it, are the people to to listen to. Because everybody's got an opinion, right? And that doesn't mean that anybody's opinions. Yeah, it does. People's opinions are fucked up. Some people's opinions are less fucked up. And somewhere in the middle, somewhere somebody's right, or as right as they could be. Mr. Eddie, that's partially true, but to a certain point, to get the recipe correct, you follow it is a good treatment. Great points. See, this is educational. This is such good dialogue. I know Magna Cut at 64.7 is still tough. So my rock wall, I know it was like shit on from an early tactile. I think it's what, 61, 60, 61. And that's not that's considered soft for Magna Cut. But for some metals, a 60 is considered high, right, Mr. Eddie? I run it between 63 and 65. See, I love it that there are people out there actually making shit happen, using it, testing it. What's that? Let's see. Why did it? Why won't it let me? Oh, there means nothing. What matters is the heat treatment done properly. True. Cut. It's still twice as stuff as 20 CV. Really? See, I thought, and I've always been happy with 20 CV. Grizzly Bear, good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Evening Pocket Razors, good to see you, my man. Channel member, thank you guys both. Man, Yoko, what is up? Good to see you, brother. If the heat treat's done properly, the number will be in the ideal range. Right. I would think you would have to follow whatever any metal's recipe or protocol is. You're not going to get to the number without heat treating it properly, right? Is that semantics or am I missing something? Because I could very easily be missing something. This is Magna Cut. Nope, that's not. This is Magna Cut. And this is 20 CV. And I'm sure those aren't either one heat treated well, although I think Wee does a good job with 20 CV. And this Fornix, or not Fornix, this Nefaris is a great knife. Thin, snappy. Yeah, Paul. And to that, I think most makers are, I would think you want to hit it perfectly as you can, right? So there's no advantage to not doing it correctly. And I think if they're heat treating or working with somebody that's heat treating, they're going to be hitting it pretty good, hitting what they want to hit. I know there's some question what number's ideal, and I realize that some foreign companies don't want liability. Maybe it's something is what I've heard at a certain heat treat or a certain HRC. They feel like it's on the designer's hands. Proper heat treat means yeah, that whole part is fascinating to me about not just making knives, grinding knives, talking about a simple fixed blade. You can heat treat multiple ways to get the same number. Gotcha. So, for example, you can cool it different ways. You can heat it at different times, like have different temperatures at different times and still get the same HRC if you're working with a high versus low temper. How do you guys learn all this? Are y'all reading it in books or do you learn it in the shop, just trial and error? Granted, I've not even bought the knife steel book yet. I've got it saved in Amazon to speak of it again because they've got the hard copy. Knife Steel Nerds. What's it called? Got it right here. It's gotten more expensive too. but I need to just get it and read it. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Boom, boom, boom. True, Mr. Eddie. And the number is really just what it whacked that time, right? What it dinged at or whatever. So it's just a one test of the property of that heat treat. It's only testing one thing, I would think, because it's only pinging that one little area. But yeah, knife engineering, the steel heat treating and geometry by Larry Thomas is now $40.46. And I ought to just buy it. And they've got a story of knife steel on there. Gotcha. So, and that's one thing I guess most of you guys do share those best practices and stuff that works. But still, that's why people like me think it's so Harry Potter like when people like you guys make shit, and it actually cuts and functions. It's so far out of my realm of not just understanding, but capability of understanding. And see, I learned a lot about heat treat, not a lot, but dark gravity. Who used to come in? I need to get him back in the chats. I don't know what he's doing on weekends, but he ran a heat treat oven for knives, and he's a certified heat treater. So I've been into his house. He's got all the books that have the actual recipes, the little bound books each year that comes out from Crucible or from whatever it's called, Uberloam or whoever they say, and they've all got their steels and their different recipes based on what you're trying to achieve, right? Thank you, Mr. Eddie. That's exactly what I need to do. Let me go over here and save it. Be right back, kids. Whoops. I love Outdoor 55. I will watch that, Mr. Eddie. Drink water. The other day, I've been taking pictures in the stump. I salvaged an old piece of this oak tree that fell in a storm. It's like a piece of pizza wedge, and I chopped out where it was. So it looks like a piece of watermelon that somebody's eaten about half out of because it came to a point and I wanted to be able to jab knives in it and take pictures. So I was trying to jab a knife into it and jabbed it right into the freaking sidewalk, and it de-tipped it a little bit, but I was able to sharpen it and get it almost back. But yeah, it feels totally different when you whack it into a sidewalk. You know, you done something jacked up. True, Knife Nut, because it's HRC is just the result of that whack test. When I say the whack test, that little thing that comes down and hits the steel. I'm sure there's so much to it, you know. And then when I had Shane on with me, Shane brought up some interesting points that I don't know if I agree with or disagree with because I don't really know. Google seemed to say that we have sold MagnaCut to China, but he says that that we've never sold our MagnaCut to China, that they've re-engineered it over there. So it's just a MagnaCut recipe like stuff. So there's so much that I don't know about blade steel. But oddly enough, I cut such little shit, that I haven't had a bad experience. Kyle, that's true, probably because you're only hitting a tiny, what, one hundredth of the blade's composition you're testing when you do an HRC test? Because I guess it would be possible for the pivot area to have different properties after a heat treat than the rest of the blade. I'm guessing. I don't know. So, Mr. Eddie, can you get to a place when you've got skill and you've done it several times where it's like a dialed in recipe, like your grandma's cookies, just to use a shitty analogy? Or is it always trial and error? Because I always wonder when I talk to somebody like Shane, how much you have to factor in for those knives that you're going to have to make a couple of times. Because I know he's very particular and very critical of what he does, like a lot of you guys are. I don't know if y'all, and this is just a chickadee aside, because there's a video on Jacob Creates Instagram of his shop, and I was amazed at how small it is. But one thing he's got is this little heat treat oven that's probably this big. So he heat treats his stuff, and then he's got this pressurized liquid something that what is it called? Cryogenically cools it. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I was surprised that he only had like a grinder, a drill press, belt sander, maybe a belt saw, and that little heat treat oven. So is that 65, when we're talking about numbers, now 3V has a different optimal range, right? Where it's gonna do its best at a totally different number, or some steels at a totally different number. And I know it's, what are you going to use that knife for? Chopping, cutting? What are you looking for in it? Thank you, brother. Yeah, I think you guys that are out there doing it. It's about perception too, Kyle. That's true. And I would think that would be an interesting, because if I'm not mistaken, that's a steel that they're only using in knives, right? It's not a steel that they're using for knives, but they use it for other stuff. So I imagine Laren gets a lot of people questioning him, especially with all the stuff that went on. I saw a few of the videos about I forget the name of the knife company, but they've since gone out of business, but they were talking about scaling MagnaCut, and they were bitching about Crucible and just making a bunch of crazy videos about it. I'm sure that Laren has had to answer a fuck ton of questions. It would make you not want to be a metallurgist in the knife industry. So are steels Vanex is going to be corrosion resistance. What's the advantage of something like LMAX? What would its strong point be? corrosion resistance too. I'll have to go to the Blade HQ chart. That's where I used to get my knowledge from when I was trying to figure it out. And in the last 2 years, I haven't been as vigilant because I think, to me, it's more, I mean, I would love it to be as optimal as it could be, but to me, it's more about just how the design, I think. So, Paul, LMAX is real. It's like, is its strong point its stain resistance, or is it its edge retention? I forget, because I've got both my Liang Ma's old ones are in LMAX. My Sin is in LMAX. This is LMAX. This is a great knife. I'm surprised it didn't sell more. I think a lot of it had to do with what happened with the, and I forget who originally designed this knife. This is a great knife. The Best Tech Sin, which is really somebody else's design that Best Tech was going to OEM. This is an LMAX. Evolve EDC sucked. Stevie, we'll have to talk sometime because I'd like to know what the, I've heard some of that it was like we got part of it, but we don't have the rest, and they came to an agreement that they just sell the knife, but I don't know how that happens on a pre-order. Maybe it wasn't a pre-order. But I saw this knife. My buddy A to Z EDC picked up one at Blade Show. And if I'm not mistaken, I saw this on sale at Knife Center, maybe. And it wasn't on sale by much, but it was like $40 off. And I just thought it was weird enough. And I knew the action on it's really good. I mean, it kind of reminds me of my Vero Axon. Yeah, Knives and Pizza. Michael Fudd Elmer knows his steels for sure. He's made a really cool knife. A knife that one of my first fixed blades, the what's it called? Sea Snake. The Artisan Cutlery Sea Snake. About a $40 fixed blade Warncliffe that is done really well. He is a douche. I agree, said Stevie. But you know, knowledgeable. We can. There can be two things that are accurate, right? But I'll never forget being in a live stream when Marco Polo was still just a raging alcoholic and was just fucking going off on him, and it was just hilarious. Paul, now K390. Oh, and he is an absolute hater too, said Stevie. Everybody else is not up to par. It's true, Palmer. I think if you call people out repeatedly in chat, people are going to quit coming to your chat. That's my experience. Now, I don't know. I just kind of stay away. Knives and Pizza? Absolutely. And I would tell you this. The best thing to do when I first came into it, and still, if I'm looking for information, get it from different sources. You know, check out an Imler video, check out a Stasa video on the same steel. You know, just get a couple of different opinions. And then the great thing about knives, I tell people, is you can try it. If you just hate it, you can typically send it back. Crispy Critter. I prefer Summer's Eve just because the old commercials. I think they used to get my loins rattling when I was a youngster. I think there was a chick who had a flowing dress and she was standing by a tree. I think it's etched in my mind like Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. Very good point. Rochambeau has been doing some serious steel testing. Todd Carr, true, true. The optimal coming in this middle sentence. Yeah, I've gotten into really trying to maintain my knives better. I use oil on them. I kind of like my Wicked Wax, but I'm not sure about it. I'm about out of it. Okay, I got to find out. I got to get back. See, I thought I was paying attention. Kyle, who? Who's diarrhea mouthing somebody else's numbers? See, I can look at the numbers and read the numbers, but I can't. To me, I have a feeling because I've flipped through the Knife Steel book. I think you can look at some of it online, and to me, it's like looking at algebraic equations. And I know that if I Duchambeau, you guys are funny. Rob is a good guy. I've enjoyed getting to know Rob. I like his content. I watch him Monday nights. This past Monday, I was creeping because I was doing a couple of other things late before Pocket Metal. But yeah, really good guy. And everybody, the cool thing about it is there's so many different likes, dislikes, different personalities. There's content for whatever really your gig is, right? So just like it's up to you, the knives that you like, it's up to you, the places you go to get information that you find helps you find the stuff that you like. And the great thing about, in my opinion, and I know it happened to me, and I bet it happens to everybody in some form or fashion, you evolve through your habit or your hobby, depending on how you want to look at it. It's so that brings you to different creators. It brings you, and I agree, he is learning a lot. I don't know. Again, I don't follow Roll as much. I watch his lives from time to time. But unfortunately, I don't get to watch a lot of content for a couple of different reasons. One is I don't want to watch things before I experience things. And secondly, since I'm not currently buying things, I'm not constantly searching things. Rob 10, that's funny because all I saw was Slicey, and I was like, well, that's a name I haven't seen in a while. Spy 27, I've seen that. So Spy 27, somebody tell me about that. What I know that's a Spyderco steel and other people's steel. Because if I'm not mistaken, there was a lightweight that had Rex one something more than 51, and then there was a Spy 27 with G10. I would Google it. Let me just Google it. Oh, and guys, I forgot to tell you, if you're ever have a question about steel, Laren Thomas is pretty smart. He's got it all. He's worked it out. I want his book. But there is AI on Instagram, and Tippy is now a knife knowledge expert. So if you go to Instagram and you search for Tippy's knife knowledge, and let's see what she thinks about Magna Cut. What is the optimal heat treat protocol for Magna Cut steel? What do you know, Tippy? She's stumped. Or she's thinking, what's Tippy doing? I bet you Tippy's about to puke out a recipe for how to cook Magna Cut the way you want to. Or she's just going to shut down. Something went wrong. Please try again. How about not? What if I can just copy? Let's see if I can copy that. I'm not replying to myself. I want to copy that. I want to place it there. And I want to click send. What is the heat treat for all right, Tippy shit the bed. She's not being very helpful. Sharif, what's going on? We're just talking and Magna Cut came up. But 63 sounds like a good number for me. Split the difference. Split the difference. Good to see you, Sharif. Hope you had fun at Blade West, buddy. It was good seeing y'all at the mansion. What Mad said. And if you want to, you can scan that link that's right there and click on the Kaiser link and go get you a Graciaso and help Javon at the same time. If you buy 4 of them, I can get another Starbucks. And I'm not even doing math, so I don't know if that's true. That's awesome, Sharif. That's better than coming back to crickets, right? Make sure you guys both have wrenches. It's a great problem to have, Sharif. So Spy 27, is it a it tells me goes slick fairly quickly, does not retain bite in its edge for very long. The nice thing about it is blah blah blah. Knife steel nerds, what do they say about it? Kind of right there between S35 and S45. Oh, funny. Kyle, still waiting to hear from my Gritomatic people, but my I think I've got it fixed. I think if as long as I can continue to stick the rod back in there, it sounds like a personal problem, and glob some epoxy in there, I'll be good. I'll be good as gold. Yeah, I think just it would make sense to me that a small oven doing 1 or 2 blades or however many few blades would be easier to maintain than a big oven just because from an idiot's perspective, it would be hard to get a lot of blades out of a big oven at the same time as opposed to getting 4 or 5 out of a small oven. So some of them are gonna sit in there longer. And I know it's more than that because there are hot spots and cool spots in the oven. But that shit's over my head, man. I just want it to cut. I just want it to cut my paper and cut my cardboard, my coupons, my finger every 180 days or so. No, but I think Sharif and those guys won, and Stevie won the how to stay at Blade Show and make it look like just the right way to do it. Because I've stayed in Airbnbs, but it makes sense to get a group and get a big ass Airbnb. Mr. Eddie, have a great night, buddy. Sleep on your side, my friend. Awesome dreams. Bless knives. That's what I was thinking too. That sounds like a fucking wonderful cocktail. Fall asleep with a solo cup of lean next to me. Mr. Eddie and I are from the same era. Age is just a number and a reality. So the reality is the decay is real. The number part of it is there is a psychology I think that goes with it. Now my hips have been hurting lately, but that's just I'm chalking it up to inactivity or less activity. But my goal is to see if I can keep a young mind through the craziness. My dad seemed to do it. I don't know if he had a young mind when he was my age, but I do, and he's got a young mind now. Paul, that Sting is a fantastic knife. I love the Herman Sting. That's one that I never experienced. A to Z's got he's got that long one. What's it called? Polish custom knives. Makers. Bartzos. He's got the Ishtar. No, thank you, Paul, for letting me experience, buddy. That was a beautiful, beautiful knife. Paul's let me use some bangers. Check out the FSD, which was the finest knife I'd experienced, and still one of the finest knives I've experienced. I did get a chance to review or do an overview on my buddy's Cortex XL that he pre-ordered. And there's something about that knife that I can't figure out because I didn't take it apart. But it's not only got an adjustable detent, it's got an adjustable lockup, and it looks like it locks up both in the scale and the lock bar. It's a bizarre, and it feels great. It's a beautiful, wonderful knife. But I think everything that Chris Brown Brown Knives is doing is next level. And that's a guy who's an aerospace engineer, who got into making knives. And then you've got who are the two guys that did the surgical equipment, who make that button lock, American made button lock. Kevin said that they've been trying to work with on the Growler. God, what's their name? Chapman Lake. Yep, Chapman Lake, Stephen. Those are two nice guys. And they weren't, when I first met them, maybe in 2022 at Blade Show, they had not been in the knife game. They had just designed that knife. Because I remember somebody I was with, it might have been Shane, was asking, why'd you design a button lock for your first knife? They're like, I don't know. It's just what we did. They didn't. Palmer, that could be true. And I think there's a situation probably there where urgency and time there's different expectations on each side. I'm sure Chapman Lakes is ghosting people is never any good. I think if you go radio silent or go into witness protection, that's not a good thing. I think the least you should do is let somebody know that you're not going to be able to do their project. Or right now you're so busy. Oh, Steven, that's cool. Are those two guys, are they the owners or do they just work there? Because I met two younger than me guys that were at the booth with the knives. And they were talking like they were the guys, but I don't know. But that's really cool. They're special knives. I mean, they're not my jam because they're flipper only. And I used to be a flipper only guy. That's the only kind of knife I like. But you can't deny that they're made exceptionally well, very tight tolerances. And they're made here in the States. Are you selling one, Sharif? I love my 207. I think Sharif's talking about this knife or the smooth one. Palmer, you should, buddy. This was my first Strider-esque knife. This little guy, this little Magna Cut. And it's a little guy. Compared to the S&G. Oh, nice, Sharif. Dude, I'm sure somebody would love it. They're great knives. It's one, I think one of these, one of my Protex has a Lynch clip on it. It's my Mordax. I couldn't remember. Palmer, that's a good thing to do, buddy. I went through so many phases of collecting. And I went through, like, when I was younger, I collected kind of gas station knives, stuff from the mall when I was a kid. And then when I was married, before I had a kid, I had a few knives, probably like 4 or 5. And then I'd always buy a few knives here and there. I've always liked knives, but it wasn't until lockdown and around that time that I just dove off in it. Something just locked me in hard. It was either the CRKT CEO or the Penguin. I think it was the Penguin that really made me go, wow, this is different. Because before that, I had like an old Ken Onion CRKT. I had and I still don't know what this knife is. It's misplaced. A Kershaw Blur. Yeah, Sharif, that's the problem. The market is soft, but just a weird observation. I don't do any trading on eBay, and I don't sell knives really. But my buddy A to Z EDC sells a lot on eBay, and he had a Benchmade Freak, not a mini Freak, just the M4 G10 Redliner Freak. Put it on eBay, and it sold for like $320. And I know Benchmates have gone up to get a new one, but I think when I got my Freak, it was like $260. So my point is, I had a knife, PMP Titano, my craziest, dumbest knife purchase ever, on Blade Binge for about 2 weeks, and I was offering it up for I think $300 or $350 on Friday Night Flicks, which is a lot, but it was a $550 knife. He put it on eBay, and in 2 weeks it sold for $450. So my only point is the market is soft, but I think there's something, if you can get to where you're selling a few things or posting a few things on eBay, there are people out there that are looking on eBay. And knock on wood, my buddy has bought and sold a lot of knives on there. He got burned once early on a Benchmade Tengu that wasn't legit. But selling, he's had no problems. And it's just there's so much more traffic there. You know, granted, Blade Binge is getting more and more and more traffic, but I've had knives sit. I had that knife sit for, a really long time. What I felt was a really long time. Sharif, you can find anything there is what's so weird, and it's a whole different environment. But if you ever wanted to talk to a dude about it, who was a knife guy, you might have met him. Weren't you in Atlanta in 22 or was it 23? He was with me both times, but he's given me some scoop. What I've done, just because he's got such a high seller rating, is I'll just let him sell anything that, like that. The only one he sold was the Tianto, and I let him keep a percentage of the profit because I was trying to only get a lot less out of it. And I think it's just having more people looking for it, right? So if you've got a bigger pool of people, you're more likely to find somebody looking for it because everybody's looking for it. I see knives like at White Mountain Knives. I'll be going through looking at stuff. And I'll be like, dude, I would think he would get stuck with so many knives, but there's always somebody looking for it because you'll go back and a weird ass knife that I wouldn't have thought ever anyone would buy is sold out. So people are buying them, which is cool. I think it's cool that people buy different stuff that I don't necessarily find attractive because I used to not buy stuff that I now buy that I find attractive that I used to hinder, for example, McNeese. It's weird how our fixed blades, I would have never, ever thought when I got into this hobby that I would have any use for a fixed blade. I remember when I bought my first SE3 stainless steel and didn't know what the hell I was going to do with it. Still don't, because it's kind of a weird size. It's a camp knife. But and then seeing the Chickadee made me get the Tucson TS150, which is a great little tiny fixed blade. And after that, I just started going nuts. I mean, something peaked the serotonin in my freaking brain, and the rest was I've got too many fixed blades now. Let me see if they've got this in stock. I'll show it to y'all, because this is a great tiny knife. If somebody's looking for a tiny knife but they don't want a Chickadee, this is the first tiny knife I got, and I've had two of them. I've given them both away. But now this is the Tucson TS150. It used to be an S90V and G10. Now it's in M390 and carbon fiber, but it is a little bitty guy. So it's even smaller than the Chickadee. It's 4.53 inches with a 2-inch blade. But if somebody was wondering if they wanted to carry a small fixed blade, $64.99, use one of the YouTube guys' codes, save 10%. It's a great little knife. Whoop, night, Palmer. Night, you guys. I'm just here sitting and spinning. I'm glad y'all stopped by. I'm glad Tippy went to bed. She was driving me freaking crazy. I'm glad she didn't flick my mini Arius off the table. I'm doing it right now. Overland Sport. Sports. Knives. Overland Sport. Ooh. Where'd you learn about that? Do you have one, Sharif? Dude, it looks, I'm about to share it because it does look like a great, it reminds me of my Liang Ma cuff, KUF, that blade shape. Ooh. Yeah. Yep. Nice pocket dropper sheath. Love the shape. What's the length of it? Let's see. 8.5 inches. For me, it's a little long, but it is gorgeous. I know that sounds crazy to say a little long. Made in Idaho. Very, very nice, Sharif. Oh, the Sport is smaller? I always look at the wrong one. Because I do probably the biggest knife that I really, really like is my Boker AK1s, Overland Sport. Oh yeah, 6.6 inches, perfect. Yeah, that is a very, very cool knife. I like that, like my Carta Cerakote too. Yeah, really cool blade shape. I bet that's a great slicing knife, a great around the house, around the yard knife. Yeah, I love those things. I'm going to be checking out, where was it? Lucky. I've got a little knife that's supposed to be coming my way to check out and do a review on and send back, because this guy, I'm going to try to have him on Friday Night Flicks. It's called Lucky Dog Knives, and he designed this knife, and then he teamed up with a guy in Canada, a custom maker, this guy by the name of David Berry Customs in Canada. And this is a little 3V knife, little 5-inch, 5.5-inch knife. Cool little discreet carry clip. Whoops. Little pocket dropper. Whoops. But he does it in 2 blades. So he did a run of 18 knives, and he's got these guard dogs, which kind of make me nervous, even though I could probably sharpen it. It's got kind of that lazy hawk bill. I think they call it a sheep hawk blade. And then I like this little spay blade, the ranch dog. But I'm interested in checking that out. They do Nice and Pizza. They ship. Let's go back and just verify that. But yeah, they're designed and shipped from America, made by hand in Canada. And it is 5.9 inches long. Let's go to our story. Let's see where they ship from. That's a good question. Shipping and returns. I'm thinking they ship from Iowa because that's where you return them from. But I will note that when it comes in where mine came from. If it's shipped from Canada. Kyle Coonley, did you post it on the gram? Let me go to Kyle's. Oh, is that an edgy knife? Yes. Hold on, guys. And Kyle, my edges are coming out so much better now since you spent that time on Friday Night Flicks, especially my tips. Look at that. Look at that. That is a tall, flat, sharp. Edgy's killing it. I love seeing him put so much into it and get good results out of it. That's awesome. Good job, Kyle. I've been using my jeweler's loop, and I don't think my edges look like yours, but they're at least my grits are running the consistent direction. Absolutely. Hey, Instagram it to me, Paul. Can you get on Instagram? Because I can show it off my computer on Instagram where I've got my phone pointing down on my coffee. So IG it to me if you can, buddy. And I'll show it to Sharif right now. I was trying to get, not really hard, but I wanted to get Scotch and Things had a Strider PT, and I really wanted that. I really wanted that. Whoops. Let's see. Let's go up here to see if, oh, Paul has sent it. Whoops. Whoops. Paul, are you going to send it to me, brother? Brent, what's going on, buddy? Brando Picks, what is up? Dude, Oak City Sheath. I cannot say enough. I've got 4 of them. 2 of them came with knives I bought, and then 2 of them I had made. These 2. But I love them. They really are. Nice sheets. Y'all go follow Kyle on the gram. All right, let me share this knife real quickly here. It looks familiar. That's a little beauty. Here it comes. Where is it? Where is it? That ain't it. That's it. Paul, so yours is a stonewash blade. Very nice. Sharif, are you not answering Brant's DMs? Guys, I'm never, ever in DMs. I'm the worst on Instagram. I'm worse on YouTube comments. But I just, Instagram DMs, it can be a couple of days. I always urge people to text me. And in the signature of my email, if anybody's interested, if you ever get an email from me, there is a signature. It looks like this. And if you scan it, it will let you open a little thing that has all my contact information. And you can just add it to your phone, and then you can text me if you ever need to get in touch with me. This little thing right here is my tap-a-tag card QR code. So when you scan that, it pulls up all my shit, and then you just click save on your iPhone or on your Android phone, and it saves it. And I get my text messages, even though I might not be able to reply to them right away, I get them right away. No worries, brother. But I don't get, I'm bad about, I'll upload to Instagram, but I'm not on Instagram as much as I should be. I'm not communicating as much as I should be, especially with makers and shit like that. I'm the worst at going and trying to establish relationships with these people. No, dude, that's a beautiful knife. Is that what Magna cut too, Paul? Because Paul and Paul let his S&G go. I'm holding it for him. But that is a good looking knife. Let's see what's happening on Instagram. Oh hell, who's that dude? A little stabber from Jason. Did y'all see his post the other day where he I didn't know if y'all knew he also did that besides tattooing. He is an expert marksman, and he does the tactical ranges, the contests like this.
Who wants an official?
Yeah. So that's a skill set that can come in handy when the shit hits the fan. That was firecrackers, dummy. What are you talking about? Dude, I'm always getting blocked and trimming shit out. But no, Jason Grant he's very good with fireworks. Then y'all have to come follow me on Rumble. Hey, check it out. Speaking of, let's see if we've got any bots. The other night, I attracted a group of bots to Rumble, to my live stream. I doubt I've got any tonight. Let's see. Where are we? Uh-oh. Our live didn't start on Rumble. That sucks. Let's see. Stream's still up, so we're in good luck. We're in good shape. No, the other night I showed one on stream. I didn't think that was a. I know there are things you're not supposed to do, but sharing videos, and I've gotten a lot of different strike. I guess you'd call them soft strikes, where you have to go in and make a change. Whoops. Where was that URL? There it is. But yeah, I just started uploading, and I'm not doing it like I had planned to. I planned on uploading a video when I uploaded a video to YouTube, just uploading it to Rumble too. And I do about probably every third one, just because it's such a pain. But we're supposed to be. It says I'm live on Rumble, but I don't see me on Rumble live. Let's go to live. Oh, there's nothing live on Rumble, unless it took me to locals. Nope. Rumble's weird. I mean, very strange. So that's bizarre. View on Rumble. We recommend you closing Rumble while you're live. All right. Recording in progress live. There's an ad. That doesn't make sense. I don't think it's live. I don't think it's live. I mean, Rumble, look at this crap. Ads for days. 3 people watching. Hey guys, what's up, Rumble? What's happening? So yeah, don't want any issue. I want to play nice in this sandbox and always do my best. Am I flawed? Of course. Am I going to make mistakes? Well, yeah. Do I make mistakes on the daily? Often. Thank you, Hinder Collector. I followed you on Rumble, buddy. You were the first person I saw over there when I went over and started. And I forget, it may have been your post that made me check it out. Yeah. But I need to put more content up there. The hard thing is only for the last like 3 months have I been saving my content that I've recorded on a little portable hard drive or whatever. Anything else that I want, I've got to download it off YouTube, and that's a pain in the ass. But let me check my channel, see if it's still up. Javon. I wonder if the live's flagged. Let's go here. Guys, I had a weird happen today. Not really weird, but just odd. Well, now I've got a couple that have. No. So, you know, I've told you guys about my short tricks that I post shorts every day. And without question, I'll post like 9 shorts, and most of them get over 10,000 or over 1,000 views. So today I posted 9 shorts, and none of them got over 20. So if you look at my shorts here, 1,200, 900, 2,100, just a lot of views. And this is where I pull in my subs from. So if you look at my shorts, I've been doing this forever, and I consistently get well over 100 views, usually about 1,000. Today, unless something changes tonight, I did the exact same thing with the exact same hashtags: 11, 19, 16, 18, 15, from 2,200 yesterday, and 1,700, 1,700, and 2,000. What the fuck? Something was going on today in YouTube short land, because I have no science to my shorts. They're 15 seconds. They're set it and forget it, and people view them or scroll past them, and I get the view counted, however that works, which is what I think happens. Today, I posted 9. Nothing happened. Usually it takes about 4 hours before they start actually getting in the numbers. Nothing. So I posted a few more, seeing if maybe it was just some weird time that I posted. Nothing. So today has just been odd. I'll keep doing it. But it's weird. Yeah, I was going to check and see if the live stream had been pinged. Live. Boom. Nope. So far, so good. I started my channel a long time ago because I had to do a project for my daughter. She had to do a project, and she had to upload it to YouTube. And my channel started in 26th of October, 2010. And it had 4 videos on there. They're private now because they're my daughter doing school kind of social experiment YouTube type bullshit. Can't believe her teacher had her doing it now. And see, I really like, and I know when the more you sharpen your knives, you're taking life off of them. But that's part of it that I really enjoy. I dig the sharpening of the knives. To me, that's part of the hobby. I like taking them apart, doing shit. I just noticed the other day, I took apart and put some scales on my cipher. And this looks like it's just got a wire clip, but the wire clip goes behind the scales. And you see that pivot. To put scales on this, you have to take the knife all the way apart. Well, to put the clip on is one of the trickiest parts, and I put it on the wrong side. So I've got to take it apart all the way, break it down, because I'm carrying it like a left-handed clip. Night, Neil McKenzie. Thanks for stopping by, buddy. So yeah, that sucks. But that's a great knife right here. Mr. Designs. This is the regular cipher, which is a Tonto. There's also a cipher D. It's a drop point. It reminds me a lot of my TRM Atom in thinness. I think Best Tech OEM'd it. Very thin, very slicey. Clips on the wrong side. Ingenious way to mount a clip. Put a pain in the ass. That'll take me, if everything goes right, which it's not, 30 minutes. All right, let me grab that. Be right back. Well, if that's any indication of how we're going to start, I probably shouldn't film it. Nobody watches disassembly videos. Thank you, Hinder Collector. Dude, I appreciate that. I need to learn how to use Discord because my whole plan, the reason I set it up was I can run Discord calls through my board and bring people can call in the live stream. And once I learn how that works, and that's what I wanted to use it for. So people that are in the chat could call up. Sweet Hinder Collector, we'll do a private chat and jump on and do it. Because I've never, ever really used Discord. I tried to use, joined Maddie's and Stevie's, and they were all different rooms. And I just never understood how it works. Maybe because I'm a millennial. I don't get TikTok either. When I watch people on TikTok, it's just kind of like, I don't get it. Where'd my, there it is.
Wow.
Is that little cold steel? I sharpened Chris 229 sent in that air light and the SR1 light, I think it was. And one of them was OS 10A and the other one was like 80 CRV or something like that. And they both sharpened fabulously. Now, I don't know how long they would hold an edge, but they got really, really sharp. And they felt great on the stones. I just used my Veneves on my TS Prof. The cold steel makes cool knives. I love my 4Max, especially since Sawtooth Dave put the hollow grind on it. Where is it? This is a fantastic knife. Whoops. That was a hard fail. Hard fail. Look at that grind. Now, it's not a great chopping knife anymore. This one's S35, but it is a slicer. Four Max for the win. I've got an 8010 that I really, really like. And then I've got an 8015 that's got a Sawtooth hollow grind. And then I've got an American Lawman that I really like. Those are the cold steels I've hung on to. And then I went 80 20.5 crazy when they came out. I went shark lock crazy. Recon 1 is a great knife. I've never had one. I've experienced one, but I've never had one. And I can make a mess. I'll show you a Bowie. Have y'all ever heard of silver stags? See if I can get this out without destroying my iPad. That's a chopper. I hate the handle. That's a big boy knife that my buddy that was I used to be at a band with him. He's my best bud. Kept seeing my videos with my little knives, and he said I needed a big boy knife. That's got a 10-inch blade. But it's sharp too. Let's get a coupon. The Big Bowie is what that is called. Not Big Boy, but Big Bowie. I'm trying not to cut my iPad power cord or my palm of my hand. Oh, it's a pain in the ass. This thing's got an Indian sheath or a Native American big ass leather sheath, and I just got it tied off on my table leg because I'm never going to carry it. Big Boy was a solid rapper. I was kind of an Andre 5000 or 3000 fan, but together they were awesome. That Outkast album, chef's kiss. I love it. Gasoline, fresh and clean. Ain't nobody dope like me. I'm just so fresh and so clean. That album killed, dude. And Big Boy is an underrated rapper. I agree. I saw a thing on YouTube not too long ago, like Where Are They Now? And Andre 3000 was on it. He looks the same, except he's got gray in his dreads. Where was that? Let's go to history. Where was it? All right, I don't see it. I don't see it. So, Stevie, I saw you. You might not still be in here, but I know you were going to Vancouver, right? I know a lot of y'all in the middle of your work week. Mad Yoko, that's a pretty common street name, if I'm not mistaken. I think you earned that moniker. Big Boy. God, I don't want to take this knife apart. And I've got to, because that's driving me crazy. So I had a package going out yesterday to Mearsalt, something he won on the members live deal. And I put it in the mailbox Sunday night. I had no idea yesterday was a mail holiday. It just sat there. And I just kept getting not pissed, but just kind of frustrated. I was like, man, the mail people are just slackers. And then I realized it was whatever, not mail day. Let's see if I can find any more questionable content. Whoop. Don't want that. Don't want that. I want that. Damn it. Whoops. Don't want that. I want that. I want that. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, there it is. Let's see what weird shit's on Instagram on my feed. Give y'all an idea of the weirdness that is Elizabeth Hurley. She never slips by without getting a like from me. By God. Y'all know she's in her 60s. Yeah. You gotta love a dog that rides a motorcycle. Let's see what else is on here. Let's see what else is on here. And that's pretty weird. So nothing really happening on the gram. Halloween dogs. Not feeling that. What's that? That's pretty cool. Whatever the fuck it is. What is that? An Ermoni, or Romani, whatever the, like a weasel. Ooh, that looks like a hawk. Oh, it's Metal Complex. It must be. I'm not gonna look. Oh, look at the friends. Put your tongue back in your mouth. Put your tongue back in your mouth. Better put your tongue back in your mouth. It's about to get real. Yep. So that's what we'll call. Ooh, what we got there? What did I miss? Oh, he bounced it off the bike rack. Did y'all see that? He kicks it off the bike rack. Both feet came off. That's pretty cool. All right, we're going to take a couple more looks. Little bear waving at you. Hey, come on over here. Some of my mama can eat you. See what else we got. Cat on a shoulder. Raccoon babies. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Look at him go. What else we got? What else we got? Something flying. Somebody chilling.
Yeah, you can't front on that.
Oh, gotta love the Beastie Boys. That'll get me a strike. What else we got on the gram? What else we got on the gram? Ooh, that looks like a TKL. That looks like one of Jared's. Yep, the FLN. That's the knife that Jared collabed with Tim Kell on. Pretty slick, pretty slick. What do we got here?
Getting the feel for the Freedom Factory right off the rip.
Whatever. What do we got? What do we got? That's not going to go well. No, what's going on? Nothing's going on the gram, guys. Have y'all ever seen these videos? The dude that puts the little camera on his cat's collar and the cat that just terrorizes other cats in the neighborhood. So it's just point of view of this cat stalking shit all day. Pretty whack. Pretty whack. Oh, Instagram. This is probably not going to be good. Let's see what happens here. Pretty impressive. Mullet, that is. How cool is that? Cool. All right. That was our tour through Instagram land after midnight as we're sitting and spinning. Yeah, they've got kind of an interesting process. Okay, Kyle, let me find it. I saw this the other day. Hold on, let me stop it. Whoop. You don't want to see this is a very ballsy granny.
Bad idea. Ha! I got you. This is a bad idea. Ha! I got you.
That's so good. That's so good. That is a good one, Kyle. I'd seen one. I send them out to Paul, and I'll send them to Pocket Bell and a couple other people. Just brutal skateboard crashes. I guess I like those because I've been there so many times. Whoops. Shut up. Right. And they the thing that Tim talked to me about that takes time, and I don't know how much reality this is, but they have this coating process, this nitrite boron, and their heat treat process. I don't know why it's so long, and I know they work with several partners there. So for what they cost, they may be a little high, but when I look at them priced against American knives, even though they're 80 CRV or Nitro V, because you can also get Nitro V from them, they've all been just beast knives to me. They've all just been, not what I would consider a slicey EDC style knife, but more hard use, tactical type knife. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of TKL, their knives. I love the comfort of the grips. My favorite's the Piranha. And this one's 80 CRV. And that little knife's a banger. And it's sharpened up, super sharp, burred up very well. Yeah, they call it something. It's the same thing they use in pew-pews. Let me see. It's called I always get it. It's not. I always think it's nitrile borite, but let me tell you what it's called. It is called about what is. Where does it talk about it? Where does it talk about it? Integrity. Where is it? Where is it? Facts. Maybe it's there. Da-da-da-da. All right. Where does it talk about that? That's blah blah. They've updated their website, and it used to have. Let me go to their knives. That's where it talks about. Let's just look at this Bushman and see what it says under product description. Nickel boron is what they call that stuff. Now, what it actually does, I don't know. It sounds like a coating that NIB is a nickel boron. And it's evidently, somehow, I don't know how it does this, but according to them, it has a higher HRC and resists corrosions and stuff like that. Yeah, they make the ring big enough where it works. That's one thing that he does. I've got the Night Stalker. I sent the Night Hawk to Carco to check out, see if he wanted to trade for it for this guy. It's got a little pinky nug. It's just a puncher. But yeah, I'm a huge fan. I mean, I think I try to watch their lives. I think they're Sunday mornings. I'm usually quiet when I'm in there. But they're really nice people. I know Suzanne better than Tim. I talked to her more. But she's I met them both at Blade Show this past year. They were there. That reminds me, I've got to get some more skiff bearings. I need to check their compatibility chart and see if they've updated it. Let's go to bearing compatibility. Quick look at this down here. Blah, blah, blah. Wow, they've got a shitload of knives listed on here. I mean, an absolute shitload. But they don't have the Volsteed that I was curious about. For your Gemini, Mad Yoko, I think they've got, I think I just saw those. Kaiser, Gemini. Where was it? Kaiser, Gemini. Is it titanium or micarta? Titanium or micarta, because they're going to either be 5mm by 1/16 or 6mm by 1/16 if they're tie. So the pivot's a millimeter bigger if it's titanium, Gemini. If it's a micarta, Gemini, you're going to want to get the 5 millimeter by 1/16 by 11 ball. These guys right, y'all. That's the micarta. That's the titanium. The only difference is it's 1 millimeter bigger around the pivot. Night, Kyle. Have a good night, buddy. We're about to get out of here. We've almost gone 3 hours. That's pretty stuff. Is it not up to date, Mad Yoko? Had you tried it? Because I've actually got the I gave my Gemini away, but I do have the cheat sheet, so I can go in and find out what size they actually are. But I would think, I know some of them are off. Like I know I had my first Nimble. I had to use this and to get the regular bearings because the sheet was off. But I think most of them that I've gotten have been accurate. And the Geminis, I don't think they've changed the pivots. If it's, like I said, the 5 millimeter by 1/16 is what most Kaiser Vanguard series use. Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, I don't trust myself reading measurements. I've got the calipers and stuff, and I try to do blade thicknesses and things like that. I just don't know how to read a tape measure, so I'm sure I'm giving inaccurate information. Feel kind of like a heel. Well, kids, I appreciate everybody hanging out. We're getting close to 1 o'clock. Coming up on 3 hours. I'm going to grab something to eat. I appreciate y'all hanging. Brother Mad Yoko is going to join us Friday night and say hey. And guys, do me a favor, hit the like button. But most importantly, look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Look out for each other. Go forward with love in your heart. Choose debate, not hate, unless hate suits you. But hate's no good. I love y'all. Peace.